Go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here's one up off the rim. Jarek Dudal with that shot, and Mask underneath. Defense is not there in time. Good move by Justin Mask. Well, first.
Nice pass. That's working that flex offense right there.
Years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Symbieta, A-Marie Castillo, and JJ Bob.
Well, this time he says it is for good. The greatest of all time, the one quarterback by which everyone else is measured, has retired from the NFL. 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady announced via his social media account at the age of 45, he is hanging up the cleats. Now, Brady ends his career as the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards, touchdown passes. The 3-time league MVP went out 4,694 yards this past season. It was third most in the NFL. He had 25 touchdown passes in his last NFL season. What's next for Tom Brady? We know he signed a contract with Fox Sports. We know he's already been dabbling in the 30 for 30s about his career, about his life. But this time, he says it is for good. What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A-Marie, our quarterback, Ned James, in the house this morning. If you're waking up, well, one quarterback domino has fallen. That was a big offseason questions. Would Tom Brady have one last ride? Would Tom Brady be the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders, of the San Francisco 49ers? Instead, Tom Brady says, goodbye, everyone. I'm on to my next journey. So the quarterback that we will grade every quarterback on 1 year ago today, by the way, did this. And so I guess there's, you want to say 99% chance he's fully retired? We'll keep that 1% chance open because you just never know what's going to happen. Because we've done this before, and then 40 days later, Tom Brady came back to football. But, A-Marie, I'll start with you this morning. Do you believe that Tom Brady is officially retired from football?
Yes. When I watched it 3 times to make sure I really felt the way I felt. By the way, JJ, I watched his Instagram post, and Ned James, good morning. It's done. He's done. You can't do it twice, JJ. You can't have 2 false retirement posts and then go to San Francisco. Like, that's ridiculous. No, he's done. Done.
I believe he's done too. I think he's finally realized that now is the time to walk away, and I think this is the best time. I think he understands that when you have a career, the likes of what he's had, it's important to go out on your own terms, and I think he's going out on his own terms. I think that was important to him. I think a lot of what Tom has learned about this game is that, when you leave a place that's you had so much success at and you go somewhere else, it's not the same. I think he at the end, I think he really missed being in New England. I think he missed the preparation and the culture and the discipline you had to have to be in that environment. I think he enjoyed, winning the Super Bowl in Tampa, and it kind of was a, hey, look, I can do it, no matter where I'm at. But I think at the end of the day, I think he really missed a lot of what he got when he was in New England. And at this time, he just probably felt that, hey, I'm just not getting the same, thing that really made me who I was. One of the most remarkable things about Tom, I mean, really one of the only guys I've known when I was in that league, that guys would come from that team and never had a bad word to say about the guy. So that was one of the things. I think, the fact that he never really had any other serious injuries other than that one he had for that one season is remarkable at that position. I mean, they changed the rules a little bit to kind of help him a little bit, but still, it's still kind of a
yeah. We just watched a rookie quarterback get an elbow injury on a edge rusher coming off Brock Purdy in the NFC Championship game, and for Tom Brady to avoid the shoulder, to avoid the elbow injuries, that was huge because, like you said, he had that torn knee, which cost him a season, but avoiding any elbow, any shoulder issues throughout his entire career.
Yeah, it's
huge.
That's amazing. I mean, it's such a violent sport, despite the rule changes and everything else. I mean, it is really remarkable that he was able to avoid, any major injuries, other than the one he had on the knee early in his career, and to to kind of keep his health at a level where he was able to still be competitive in a lot of games. Even though it did wane in the later years, he did still show that he had the fortitude to kind of persevere through a lot of things in his career, the personal stuff. That's a big part of it as well. He was able to get through all that. But I do think he really did miss that culture that he had in New England when he went to Tampa, and he saw that, hey, it's going to be different every place I go. And, it really probably is time. You go into the locker room and the music that the kids are playing, the young guys are playing, you don't understand the lyrics. And so you're starting to say, okay, I need to be upstairs with the coaches listening to their music because I can't understand what these guys are conversating about here in the locker room. So maybe it's time for me to step away.
Tom Brady from 2001 to 2022 in the NFL. The longevity was unbelievable. The wins were unbelievable. Do you think we'll ever see anyone be able to go 10 years between Super Bowl victories with one team at the quarterback position? Because that's what he did. He came out of the gate on fire with the New England Patriots, winning Super Bowls 2001, 2003, 2004. And then it was tick-tock, tick-tock. Not until 2014 he rattled off his final four. There's three with the Patriots and that last one with Tampa Bay. And it's really interesting looking at the last 3 years with the Buccaneers for Tom Brady. What you talked about, the environment, because he came in right away and they clicked. They won the Super Bowl in that first season in the Buccaneers. Year two, they go 1-1 in the playoffs. There's talk that Bruce Arians, maybe the ship's not as tight. They go to Todd Bowles, and it was worse last year after that. So I think what you talked about is, what did he feel about the culture now? Because everyone was like, oh, Bruce Arians going to Todd Bowles. Now you're getting more structured approach. You're getting more of that lock-in, day-to-day preparation type of stuff, and it wasn't the case. And it wasn't clean last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were 8-9, go to the playoffs, and get beat by the Dallas Cowboys. But still, the career of Tom Brady overall, from 6th-round pick to the quarterback that we will measure everyone after him by, is really impressive. And I think one of the things you said too, Ned, is we all have our jokes about the Patriots, and we've watched Deflategate, we've watched Spygate with this franchise, but then there's that element to Tom Brady himself, the player. What you pointed out is there's not a bad word said about him. Like, when it comes to being a teammate, he's a guy that you'll go day in and day out and follow.
And that's what he'll be mainly measured by, because coaches understand you have to have a guy like him in the locker room, particularly at that position, you speak of leaders, you speak of, what qualities that leaders should have, and playing that position, everybody's looking at you. I think that's almost the reason why guys will go to play football and play that particular position. A lot of times there's a lot of guys who, Tom Brady was one of those guys, could have played baseball, could play, basketball, could play a lot of different sports, but it's almost that godlike feeling you get. Everybody's waiting for you to say said hike before anything happens on the field. And everybody's got their eyes on you. And it's almost that, kind of feeling of just wanting to be in control and being that type of a leader and to be that type of person. It takes a special person to be able to do that day in and day out, having to put on that face for your teammates in order for them to have confidence as well. I mean, you have all different types of personalities coming from all different demographics and cultural backgrounds, and you have to, bring these group of guys together and win. And they look up to you. They look at the quarterback. It doesn't matter defense, offense. They all look at the quarterback position from little league through, the pros. And so it's important that you, have these kind of characteristics that I think Tom displayed. And you see it when players, like I said, when players come from the Patriots and they come to your team, when they came to teams that I coached on in the NFL, there was never an ill word said about them. And a lot of times, there are ill words said about guys that are quarterbacks on other teams. They will tell you, hey, this guy is a jerk. This guy, he's all about himself, or this guy, he's just, he's selfish in this way. And, it's just remarkable that I never heard anyone say anything bad about Tom Brady. But yet and still, the guy was able to, kind of withstand, he had to withstand a lot of things in New England. I think the head coach was really trying to move off of him early, which was the right thing to do. As guys get older and, you're bringing up younger guys, you want to, as a coach, you're more concerned with the culture of the environment. But he was able to withstand all those things.
And he won still after that. Yeah. They're trying to move on. He's like, I still got a couple more in me. I still got a few more.
Well, it probably motivated him, to kind of, and a lot of times, some guys crumble under that weight of pressure, to retire and to move on. And he was able to kind of, do what most people can't do under those kind of circumstances, and that was to excel. And he was able to excel in a large degree by winning Super Bowls, and that's important.
7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady announces his retirement this morning. Are we going to see anyone get to 7 Super Bowl victories, 14 AFC Championship game appearances, 1 NFC title game appearance? That's where it starts. You got to be able to get to a conference championship before you can get to a Super Bowl. There's a couple guys that are starting to rack up those championship game appearances, one of them being Patrick Mahomes, who's back in another Super Bowl. So he could be the guy you look at in terms of climbing the championship game appearance ladder. Super Bowls, we shall see. But Tom Brady hanging up his cleats, the GOAT. What say you? The first quarterback domino has fallen in the offseason. Just as we're sitting there wondering, could he finish his career in San Francisco with the injury to Brock Purdy? Would he go spend a year in Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels? Nope. Looks like he might be fulfilling that first year of that big-time TV contract he signed with Fox Sports. Speaking of motivation, can a head coach motivate Russell Wilson? The Denver Broncos, well, they found their guy. Sean Payton is their next head coach. What does it mean? And is Sean Payton really the dude? How has Sean Payton become viewed as the best coach this hiring process? And did the Denver Broncos get it right? Amory, Ned James, JJ Buckets opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
head coach out there. Because people are taking victory laps in Denver, and should they be taking victory laps with Sean Payton coming to town? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. So Sean Payton stepped away from the New Orleans Saints after the 2021 season. And he's been doing TV. You've seen him on Fox Sports. You've heard him right here on The Sports Animal. Guest on Colin Cowherd in the afternoons. And now he is back in. This has been a interesting coaching search for the Denver Broncos. And by the way, we'll talk with Brandon Cristal coming up at 9 o'clock this morning from KOA Radio up in Denver. He covers the Denver Broncos. We were scheduled to talk with him before this news came down, and then they hired Sean Payton. I'm like, well, this is good timing. And so he's going to join us at 9 o'clock to take us through the process, but also what are the Broncos thinking, settling back down on Sean Payton, who it doesn't feel like he was their first choice, which is really interesting. They end up giving up a first-round pick, the draft capital, to acquire the rights to Sean Payton. But you read the reports. Even yesterday there was a report that they went one last run at DeMarco Ryans, San Francisco's defensive coordinator, who took the Houston Texans head coaching job. Of course, DeMarco Ryans, former player for the Houston Texans. There was, of course, the rumors early that Jim Harbaugh was a top candidate for them. He stayed at Michigan, so they circle back around and get Sean Payton. People believe that Sean Payton was the best name on the market this hiring process. But for the Denver Broncos, it comes down to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. What is going to be different for Russell Wilson with Sean Payton as his head coach, as opposed to what we saw last year with Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah, well, you have a veteran head NFL coach as opposed to a first-year head coach with Hackett. It kind of smells a little bit desperate in so much as they really went after DeMeco Ryans and Harbaugh at the end if they could have got him, because I really think they didn't want to give up those draft picks. And with that being said, the fact that Sean would sit out a season and not want to coach because he felt like he needed to step away for a year would kind of give you some pause in bringing a guy back who actually left because he got tired of coaching. It wasn't a smart move by Sean. It became a smart move when you could get $20 million out of somebody to be a head coach in National Football League. I think it wreaked a little bit of desperation in so much as the draft picks. I don't think any head coach, and I know there's some great coaches out there, is worth a first-round draft pick. I mean, those draft picks, those first-round picks are precious. That's how you build your team. That's how you have quality players on your team. And I think a lot of times when people say, it's just a first-round pick, yeah, these teams that don't have those first-round picks, these players that are the great superstars in this league typically are first-round draft picks. Now, that's not saying that there's low-round draft picks that become stars in this league, but typically your better players on your team are your high draft pick players. So it just seemed a little desperate. I know Sean's a really good coach. I think ownership got the message as far as not wanting to give up those draft picks. I think DeMeco and Harbaugh both leveraged it for better deals at other places. DeMeco got I think a better deal in Houston as a result of it, and I think Harbaugh is going back to Michigan and he's getting a lot of that money back that he gave back to the university for the previous season not being as well as this last season. So I have a hard time with guys who leave and then try to come back and try to replicate what they did before they left.
Well, I think it's fascinating that Sean Payton, who has almost an identical resume to guess who?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Right.
Is viewed as the savior. Is viewed as the game changer. Whereas everyone thinks Mike McCarthy is a terrible head coach. I think both are good
marketing,
coaches.
Man. Marketing.
Like,
brand management.
Like, how does this work? I think that's a fascinating piece of this.
I don't get it.
There's victory parades this morning for Denver Bronco fans. They're like, yes, sir. We got Sean Payton. But Sean Payton is a good NFL coach.
Yeah.
At some point in time for the Denver Broncos, and this was my hesitation if I put my Denver Broncos hat on as a fan. You gave up draft capital for a quarterback. That's understandable. But the last 2 years, the Broncos have given up 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. It is not worth it at this point in time. So this last year with Russell Wilson, was it really just all coaching? And that's one of the things I'm looking into talking with Brandon Cristal about. He's up in Denver. He covers his team. He follows that team. He's there day in and day out. How much of this is on Russell Wilson? Nathaniel Hackett was bad. He had bad game management. He lost the trust of the football team early. So we know with Sean Payton, there's immediate respect in the locker room. He knows what he's doing. But how much of this is on Russell Wilson to figure out who he is at this point in time? He had some better moments late in the season, but he didn't look like anything like the quarterback we've seen.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, the year before this past season, he had the finger injury, might have threw him off a bit. Okay. But is he really done at 32, 33 years old? Like, is it really just Sean Payton calling different plays?
Yeah.
That's going to be the magic pill for this?
Well, it's not so much if it's Sean Payton. Does coaching matter? Does culture matter? Does new ownership management, does that stuff matter? That's what it's going to come down to in Denver. If Sean Payton is able to turn this organization around, because the spotlight is going to be on him, he'll get a 1-year honeymoon period with Denver. But then after that, Denver is going to ramp up a little bit like how Dallas would ramp up with McCarthy. They're going to have high expectations.
They're going to get a 1-year honeymoon period.
Yeah, they'll
Broncos right now.
They'll give him a year. They'll give him a year to kind of, because he'll have I had to, come in and clean up some things and that kind of stuff. He'll use that, excuse to kind of get him through some of the rough patches during the season, because everything looks good on paper right now. I was over at UNM Lobo complex yesterday, and all the football guys, the new signees, the portal guys coming in, it all looks good on paper, but it don't even matter. Spring ball don't matter. Fall camp don't matter. It don't matter until they say set hike, until the games start. When the games start, that's when it matters. That's when you get to see if what's on paper, if that $20 million, if you're getting your $20 million a year coach, that everybody thinks, okay, is this guy really worth this kind of money? Doubling most salaries in the NFL per year for a head coach it's acceptable. I mean, guys complain about players getting money, but coaches get money for some reason. Nobody says anything. But it's interesting to see if the change in culture will help or hurt this Denver team.
That's what it is. You're banking on Sean Payton to refocus Russell Wilson, to get the best out of Russell Wilson, because you have given up 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks.
But just remember now,
gone all in on Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
But Sean Payton is not the coach of Russell Wilson. He's the coach of the Denver Broncos. So it's the whole team. He's not just the offensive coach or defensive coach, but he has the whole entire organization. So it's not just the quarterback. The quarterback, like I said, gets way too much credit when you win, way too much blame when you lose. It's the entire organization. He's going to be responsible for everything. I don't care if it's the left guard that is struggling. He's going to be responsible for that. So we're gonna see. Like I said, it's going to be a 1-year honeymoon period. But then after that $20 million, they're going to start saying, we better have a playoff win in our future.
Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos. What does that mean for the AFC race? Because we're hyper-focused on Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Those are the guys you have to knock off. AFC West, how does Kellen Moore factor in? Helping Brandon Staley try to get over that hump with the Chargers. It's deep. There's young quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence as well in there getting a playoff victory this season. Can Sean Payton elevate the Denver Broncos, specifically Russell Wilson, to that next level? Because there's more draft capital given up to invest in Payton and Wilson for the Denver Broncos. But it is game day in Logan, Utah tonight. Lobos and Utah State, New Mexico, looking for another quality road win. Utah State has their eyes on a quad 1 win themselves at home. What does Richard Pitino think about this matchup and where the Lobos sit in conference play? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Insurance is not a commodity you can buy off the shelf.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
He's Sports Animal.
Oh, don't look now because the Lobos are road dogs tonight. New Mexico at Utah State. Lobos 19-3 overall. They're 6-3 in the Mountain West play. Utah State 17-5. They're also 6-3 in conference play. It's the lone Mountain West game on the slate tonight, and you better watch out. Because you know the top 5, all eyes are on them. Well, UNLV's coming. They beat Colorado State last night 83-71. That was after beating Nevada on Saturday. Last night at home, Nevada beat San Diego State 75-66. The Wolfpack scored 47 points on the Aztecs in the second half. Boise State survived at Clune Arena 59-52. Wyoming beat Fresno State at home 85-62. So if you're looking at the Mountain West standings, 2 8-2 teams. Boise State, San Diego State. You got Nevada sitting there at 7-3, and then one of the Lobos and Aggies will move to 7-3, and someone will drop to 6-4 after tonight's game. At-large resumes, time to build them. And Lobos 4.5-point underdogs tonight at Utah State. What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, and Ned James with you this morning. The Lobos are going to face a team that shoots a lot of threes, that makes a lot of threes on the season. And New Mexico has been surprisingly good at defending the three-point shot, and Richard Pitino spoke on that, and it's something that they might not really focus on, but they're doing a really good job at it.
I mean, we put an emphasis on it, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because we're not real big on the perimeter. Now we've gotten better at getting quick to the ball and maybe not, being in rotations as much. So we certainly put an emphasis on it, and our guys have gotten better at it. But I don't know if it's one specific thing or not. But we'll keep certainly emphasizing to get them off the three-point line. But Utah State's going to shoot a bunch.
Utah State, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. They lead the nation in three-point shooting, 42%. They're 10th in made three-pointers per game. They're hitting 10 three-point shots per game, and that's huge. That's a game changer. You saw what Air Force was able to do on Friday night at the Pit with their controlled offense, slow it down, hit threes. Well, now you have a team that plays faster than that and hits threes. It's going to put a lot of pressure on a Lobo defense that has been good enough. It's not the strength of their team. So this game could definitely be trending towards shootout tonight in Logan.
Yeah, it's interesting because I got a chance to watch a little bit of practice this week. So I went over and watched the Lobos, and it's interesting how, I've been gone for a little bit, and since I've gotten back, I've kind of gone just walking through athletics, the infectious nature of winning and what it brings as far as, the smiles you see the. People are happier, it seems, around it. And then to watch practice and see the, Coach Pitino, what I enjoy watching with him is just the intensity that he can bring to a practice. He's a lot more verbal than the last coach, so you hear him and you see it in the players' eyes. I mean, because guys can get a little worn down sometimes from hearing, the same voice or hearing the head coach scream and yell all the time. But it just seems because you're winning, you can get after the kids a little bit more, and you can increase the tempo. And I'm an old school guy, so I like hard coaching. And Rick's a really hard coach. He coaches them hard.
Richard.
Okay, can't call him Rick. Okay, Richard.
That's his daddy.
Daddy's Rick. Okay, Richard. So Richard, and one of the things I enjoyed watching was, he throws that ball off the back of the backboard, and he expects those guys to grab it and start hauling tail down court. And so they did that a couple times, and just the tempo of practice, and just the intensity of the coaching from all the assistant coaches, and Eric Brown and all those guys are just getting after and yelling and getting after the big men to get down the court, because you're going to have to go match up on a guy who's going to be spotting up to shoot threes. So I got a chance to see that practice and see some of even the younger players that I told you about, Quentin Webb, who's probably redshirting.
He is redshirting.
I don't believe in red shirts because of all this transfer stuff. So, if you got a guy gets hurt, the guy, you got to pull a red shirt off a guy. He's got to be ready to go in and play. Even if he thinks, I'm redshirting, he's got to be ready to play if a guy goes down. So I just love the intensity, and they've got good players. They've got guys who can run. It'll be interesting to see if they can transfer what they were doing in practice to the game tonight, because he really made those guys get up and down that court during practice, as far as, hey, when that ball comes off of that backboard or it comes off of the goal, you better be ready to sprint back and go play some defense and go match up on a guy, because they're going to be spotting up and shooting. So it's just really interesting to see that, this league, which is so competitive right now, how these guys respond to that. Because Utah State, they see the Lobos as, a formidable opponent. So they're going to be a little nervous too, but they're going to be at home. They're going to have their home crowd. And how we play against tough teams on the road, which we've shown we can do by beating San Diego State in a tough environment, will show tonight against Utah State.
The matchup to watch is going to be number 23. It's a senior forward, Taylor Funk. He's 6'9". This dude is the best shooter on the Utah State team. He's a creator. He can work on the ball, off the ball. He's kind of been a matchup nightmare for teams this season. So Josiah Alec, Javante Johnson, who did they match up on him? We saw Alec do so good on Matt Bradley in the San Diego State game on the perimeter, giving him a different look. Taylor Funk is going to be a key for Utah State offensively, and then how do the Lobos defend him is definitely going to be something to watch, because there's a lot of size in that front court. Now they have a 7'1" center who he's your traditional post guy. He doesn't stretch the floor. Gets in foul trouble. So probably expect Lobos with Morris Udeze to go right at him early, see if they can get the big guy out of the game. But then you have Taylor Funk and Sean Bairstow, Cameron's brother, still balling at Utah State, 6'9", 6'8". Give him that size on the wing, which is going to be an interesting dynamic with the Lobos.
Give me your take on Josiah Alec. I watch him in practice, and one of the things about a guy, he's a really good athletic big guy. The thing that I see that and I'm not a basketball aficionado like yourself and others. The thing I just noticed athleticism. He always, in my opinion, it just seems like he's just kind of out of sorts. Like he doesn't know where he's at. Like he kind of, when I watch him run up and down the court, he almost seems like he can get lost sometimes. And I don't know if that's just me watching something I shouldn't be watching, or if it's just a part of who he is, because he is a big, strong, athletic guy. He just doesn't seem in rhythm like the other guys are.
I think it's just the way it looks with Alec, because he's actually the engine for this team in terms of the hustle plays.
I see all that.
He's the quote-unquote glue guy.
Yeah.
He's going after every rebound. He's setting the screens. He's just getting the ball, getting it out of his hands, trying to post up.
Yeah. And I know game plans change. I don't know how smart he is, or I'm sure he's pretty smart, but it just seems, and when I watch him, that he's just always looking around. Like
I think
he's
that's
out
just
of sorts.
That's part of his style, actually, of just when I watch Josiah Alec play, we know he's not been a focal point, but when he gets the ball, he plays hard. I think it's more that it's not smooth. Like he's a really good athlete. He's strong. He's quick for his size, but he doesn't look smooth at what he's doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the rhythm, the other guys seem to be moving in rhythm, and he just seems like he's the kind of the
he
guy
gets to his space and he knows what he's going to do.
He can't do the
Big for
cha-cha
him.
slide. Everybody else can do the cha-cha slide. He's still learning it. So that's what I see when they're throwing that ball off the goal and they're sprinting down court. The other guys see him in rhythm. He kind of just seems like he's looking to see what's
Josiah
next.
gets there. He gets where he needs to be.
Okay.
And he plays hard. This matchup tonight, Lobos and Utah State, New Mexico, 4.5-point underdogs. It's a late one in Logan. 8:30 p.m. tip-off. Pregame over on UNM Sports Radio Network. You can catch it on KKOB. Starts at 8 o'clock with Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green. So there's still two teams looking for a head coach. And is it desperation time for these NFL franchises? We got Tom Brady hanging his cleats up, Sean Payton going to Denver, and there's still a couple teams wondering what's next for them. It's Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. As a
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
The dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside. Hostile gives it up. Shot is up. Oh!
Ball goes inside to Duke, guarded by Trujillo. Eli with the tip and the finish. Schermerhorn on the drive. Yes, strong fit.
She's gonna got numbers. Going
1 second. She slips it in just a. Still some time. Montoya, plenty of room. Yes. Wide open long ball for Jason Montoya. The screen, ball fake, but rejected. Boom. Rejects it. Quickly, or if they hold for the final. Wyckoff, yes, count the basket. A chance at a three-point play for Wyckoff, and a free throw is coming up.
Catch and shoot.
E-Hill, give it to the hot hand. Why not?
Happy for the boys, and I was like, I guess they knew about it.
One more.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors.
Brady retired. Posted a video on his social media account this morning saying this time it is for good. Now, it happened 1 year after he did it last year and then came back 40 days later. But this time, is it different? Does it feel just a little bit different with Tom Brady? I know a lot of us.
Yes.
It won't truly be Thomas Dunn until week 1 of the NFL season. And then we look and say, all right, he's not on.
Like, okay, he's not on the field. Yeah, he's not.
He's officially retired.
He's not teasing us.
No.
But he's on, come on, the emotional video on the beach.
But he's sitting on the beach.
He's just like getting all teary-eyed.
7-time Super Bowl champion.
Come on.
In September.
The first quarterback domino to fall this offseason, Tom Brady's retirement. And then yesterday, Sean Payton. Looks like he is going to become the next head coach of the Denver Broncos. We'll talk with Brandon Cristal coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. He's a reporter up at KOA Sports Radio in Denver about this news, about the search, and what does it mean for the Broncos? Is this specifically Sean Payton for Russell Wilson? But as Ned James says, he's the head football coach. He's not just a coach for Russell Wilson, but that is the fate of the Broncos franchise, is figuring out what you can squeeze out of Russell Wilson the rest of the way. JJ Buck-Amory, our quarterback, Ned James, here on the opening drive. Now, there's still 2 teams, Arizona and Indianapolis, that are looking for a head coach. Indianapolis, it feels like Jim Irsay is just somehow, some way trying to figure out how he can hire Jeff Saturday and make him the full-time head coach moving
That
forward.
is not going to happen. I hope not for Colts fans.
Well,
Why
they
does
haven't
he should
hired
be
one
like
yet.
an offensive line coach or something, or like a little side coach,
But
not the head coach.
He wants him to be the head coach. He is
Of course
probably
he
doing
does.
everything in his power.
bud, yeah.
Say, have we checked all the boxes? Has we done what we've had to do? NFL rules. Interviewed who we need to interview to satisfy the Rooney Rule, so I can just make Jeff Saturday my head football coach. That feels like what Jim Irsay is doing right now. The hardest job, actually, is Arizona. Because you're going to go into Arizona next year, and that truly is a redshirt season. That's not a honeymoon period. That is, you're not going to figure out what you have in Arizona next year because Kyler Murray's coming off a torn ACL. So you're going to be running out Colt McCoy and whatever other veteran and or young guy you have on that roster as you take a wait-and-see approach with Kyler Murray next season. So what do they do? Because they're going to have to hire a coach to come in and realize, yeah, next year we're not going to see what this team is actually going to be. Because Kyler Murray is probably not going to be ready to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona thing is, with Kyler Murray and the guaranteed contract and that sort of stuff, even if you want to move off of a guy like that, it's going to be something you can't do if you're the new head coach. Indianapolis, you got a billionaire owner, is a little goofy. And so billionaires get to do whatever they want. It's amazing to me how poor people get upset at these billionaire owners and the money that they have to pay, poor people like these Sean Paytons. They get $20 million, but don't feel sorry for these billionaires. They've got plenty of money to shell out. The Houston thing is interesting because that coach and the hire that's expected with DeMeco Ryans, that guy's even goofier. This guy plays video games on a beanbag.
There's nothing wrong with playing video games on a beanbag.
When you're a billionaire owner, you're on your beanbag playing video games in your office in the facility. That's to me is really kind of strange. But you just never know with these owners. This shows people that these owners really don't know what they're doing. This gives the fan a look inside of ownership, because in my opinion, these owners, it's attorneys. They're listening to their attorneys. They're listening to
isn't that what they should be
homeless
doing?
Guys on the street.
Is it because isn't that NFL owners? Isn't that what they should be doing?
But the attorneys don't.
Yeah, their business.
Attorneys are watching ESPN. They're seeing if Stephen A.
Well,
Smith
how much
says you
are
should
they
hire this
relying?
guy, they're saying that.
Yeah,
or
that is.
If Colin Cowherd says Sean Payton's the greatest coach in the history of the world, Denver's going to bring him in, because those owners and those lawyers and those homeless people who are out on the street watching, the Colin Cowherd show. The owner passes them by on the way to their Rolls Royce. Say, hey, I hear you need to draft, or I hear you need to sign Sean Payton. It's really like that in a lot of cases.
So what do you make of then, with that being said, what we saw out of David Tepper, the Carolina Panthers owner? He said, despite hiring Frank Reich over Steve Wilkes as the team's head coach, he insisted he was trying to break up the quote-unquote old boys network. Because Frank Reich would seem to be one of those guys that is in the old boys network, and this is what you're talking about.
That would be false, what Tepper said. So we would have to talk about that on the other side. But I don't believe what Tepper is saying as far as breaking up the good old boy network, and we'll have to discuss
Definitely
that.
not doing that by hiring Frank Reich immediately after he was fired by the Indianapolis Colts. We got Tom Brady retired, Sean Payton in Denver, Lobos Aggies tonight. And is Tom Brady really done? Well, we'll hear from the man himself in his retirement video. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated, with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Nelson, he's got 3 fouls, so he doesn't really want to be getting the ball.
Dagger. That's
Gomez!
Inside.
Hostile gives it up. Shot is up.
But he was still pretty good. This wasn't a guy that you watched on the football field and was just like, oof, this is rough to watch. Were the Buccaneers a good football team this year? They weren't. They were under 500. They won a bad division to get to the playoffs. And good on you, Cowboy fans, because you can say you were the last team to defeat Tom Brady before he retired. The career, the numbers, they speak for themselves. The longevity, it's insane. There's very, very few guys that are going to play that long, let alone have that kind of success. And there's 2 right now that if you said they win a Super Bowl and then you give them 10 years, they could win another one with the same team. And I don't even know if you'd say Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes could be that guy right now at 27, 26 years old. Now, at least for Patrick Mahomes, he's got one. Now he's got 5 straight AFC title game appearances. He's going to another Super Bowl this year, the Andy Reid Bowl. So he's a guy that could climb up that ladder and try to challenge Tom Brady in terms of title game appearances 14 times. Tom Brady was in the AFC Championship game with the chance to get to the Super Bowl. One time in the NFC, and he won it in the NFC. But Tom Brady retired. Now, a year ago today, he did the same thing. And then 40 days later, he came back. But let's let you listen to what Tom Brady had to say this morning. And then you can, for yourself, decide if we should play the wait-and-see game or if you think this man is done.
Yeah,
it's Tom Brady.
Wow.
That's how we do it.
Holding back tears.
That's how we do it nowadays with the social media and out on the beach.
Sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
And it's hard for everyone when they step away from whatever you're doing. There's a transition. You work more than half your life with whatever you're doing. Like, you're only a kid for so long, and then you're in the real world. You know, he got to play football for his entire career, and he was very good at it. But that's still a shock to the system. For Tom Brady to be like, all right, now I am finally done. And he doesn't seem like I got to the transition necessarily in coaching, broadcasting. We had that deal with Fox, a 10-year deal on the table, so we could definitely see Tom Brady doing that. But Ned, what's it like when you do make that transition finally from your focus is on being the best athlete you can be, you're throwing that football, being ready to go to, that's not who you are anymore.
Right. It's tough. It gets emotional for you. I mean, you remember that last game when you took your pads off and you know, even when you're in high school. I mean, it goes back to guys in little league or high school, and you're just not quite sure if you're going to be able to continue with this thing that you just love. A lot of times you'll get calls, and I'm sure Tom has gotten calls. You'll get people who want you to extend your career, and it's joyful when you're young. But I think once you get to a certain point and you know that you just can't do it, like, you know, you go to the, in my case, it was arena football. You can't, Canadian Football League, you know, it's still professional football. You just really try to hold on to it. And then you finally realize that, hey, you know, it's time for me to take this next step in, you know, my journey in this thing called life. And you go on to your next work life. And so it's tough because it's something that you've done since you were a kid. You know, I remember even going straight from playing into coaching. You know, every fall, you know what the routine is, and it's funny because you're with your significant others. You know, you're used to an itinerary. You're used to waking up every fall and knowing at this time I have to do this, at this time I have to do that, because it's all programmed into you. From the fall, you know how to get ready for a game. You know how to get your body ready. You know how to get your mind ready for the task at hand, as far as playing a game or getting ready to go into training camp. And then it's all of a sudden it's not there anymore. And so there's a time period where you have to adjust to being around normal human beings, people who don't have athletic careers. And so that's the tough part. I think Tom's going to have to figure that out, how to be around people outside of athletics, and they see things a little bit differently than you see them. But it's a tough transition. And obviously it was tough because he came back last year, and we don't know if he won't come back this year. I mean, he's saying that's it, and we want to take him at his word, but at the same time, that these things are hard, and eventually he'll make that decision to go into his next work, next life, and he'll have to live with it. He'll have to deal with it, and there'll be a point. There'll be a no turning back point. Maybe after a year or so, people will still be trying to get him to come back, and he'll have to rebuff a lot of those things. But at the same time, he may think about doing it again. You just never know. So it's tough, and I think he's all those things mentally. He's going through a lot of things mentally, as far as where he wants to take his life's next journey. And we don't know what that is yet. Like you said, he's got the radio. You always want to be next to football. A lot of guys, some guys want to just cut bait and just go to something totally different. Other guys, will transition into coaching or transition into broadcasting, sports journalism, or what have you. And we'll see. We'll see what Tom decides. He hasn't necessarily said what his next step is going to be. He's taking some time. Obviously, he's on the beach and somewhere. He didn't say where he was, but he'll make that transition here pretty soon. But he's got some time. He's even though he's saying that he's retired, at 46. I know there's people out there in their 50s and 60s are saying that they'll never stop working. And so this is what his life's work is. And so he may at some point decide, hey, I want to do something close to football, or I may even want to go back to football. But we have to respect it either way. And right now we're respecting the fact that he's saying he's retired.
Well, he did mention that he used up his essay last year in his initial retirement. So that's why I just made the 45-second video. And, this is the first quarterback domino to fall, because I thought it would be a real possibility that Tom Brady could end his career in San Francisco if he wanted to play one more year after the Brock Purdy injury, how that roster is set up. But now it does change the offseason, because with him as an unrestricted free agent, there were teams that were going to call Tom Brady.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the reports this morning, too, is that it came down to Tampa Bay or retirement. And so it didn't really sound like, from those close to Tom Brady, like they knew it was either he was going to come back and play for the Bucs or be done. And so that shuffles the quarterback market around, because if you're San Francisco, you have to call someone and figure out, man, we can't waste another year of a roster that is that good, because Brock Purdy, at least 6 months rehab. It could be more if he needs Tommy John surgery. Yes, you have Trey Lance coming off an ankle injury. But are you going to bring back Jimmy Garoppolo? Is that something that can happen once again? Is that too awkward between the two sides? Derek Carr is out there. San Francisco, the Raiders, the Carolina Panthers, the Miami Dolphins. I think you're going to be looking at one of these veteran quarterbacks. Now that Tom Brady is off the table, you start going, all right, what is next for a lot of these teams? Because Brady in San Francisco, man, that made sense for 1 year. Because that roster is stacked. He doesn't have to throw it 50 times a game. But now that is off the table, we can stop talking about that. When you look at the market right now, Ned, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, unrestricted free agents. We assume they'll probably negotiate something with Seattle and the Giants, but they could be on the market. Where are you leaning with where you want to see some of these guys go and where they could be successful?
You know, obviously you want them to return to the places that they've been. I know the market will heat up for a guy like Derek Carr, who the Raiders have all but said, enough.
He said his farewell already, Derek did.
They're done with him, but they're going to hold on to him because they can see now that he's going to probably be pretty valuable now that Tom has essentially taken himself out of the market. Now, when it comes to money, that kind of changes people's opinion a lot of times. And Tom's got enough money that maybe it doesn't matter as much. But at the same time, it could still matter. If someone throws a huge chunk of change at him, you don't have to come to training camp.
Because he, by the way, was hitting free agency. So the team doesn't have to call Tampa Bay and be like, by the way, I hear Tom wants to get back in. Here's a bunch of picks. He can do whatever he wants.
I was going to say picks because it's not about money at this point either. This guy takes less money to just win. I found it interesting, too, that we found out all the conspiracy theories, where's Sean Payton going? Maybe Tom Brady package deal. I just think it's funny within 24 hours, we got the Sean Payton and Tom Brady news. It's all coming to life now. We're all figuring out you can stop all the rumors.
It's agents, it's attorneys, it's lawyers. They're trying to figure out, the contract situation and the draft picks with Payton. They had all that worked out prior to interviewing Payton. It was used as a negotiating tactic to try to maybe get other guys to take the job, because the price went up for them to take a Harbaugh and to take a DeMeco Ryans. These guys may have leveraged to get more money at the places they really wanted to be. Maybe they didn't want to come to Denver because of the fact that they're going to have some issues with draft picks in the future. And so they leveraged it, and Denver may have leveraged it as well, trying to, string. He probably wanted $30 million a year. You never know with Sean Payton, and so it's just one of those negotiating things. I like the fact that Brady has said, "Hey, I'm retired now. I'm retired, and this is the decision I've made. I woke up this morning and said I'm retired." Can that change? Of course it can change. Will it change? No one knows if it's going to change or not. You can come in and say whatever you want. You can come in and praise him, and you can come in and denounce, some of the antics that have gone on within his career. But at the end of the day, only Tom Brady knows what he's going to do. And, he changed in 40 days last year. He could change again this year. You just never know.
Right now, I think a lot of us are 99% on board with Tom Brady being retired.
So we're all waiting till August. Are we all waiting till
1%.
September, like Labor Day? Are we waiting till Labor Day?
Yeah, but there's that 1% where you're just taking a step back going, maybe, just maybe, he'll step on a football field next season. But the 7-time Super Bowl champion announcing again that he's retired from football. With that news coming down, Sean Payton agreeing to be the next head coach of the Denver Broncos. What does that mean for the AFC? And I don't think it means a honeymoon period for Denver next season with their brand new head coach. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Fellas, it's your girl, Amory, your part-time bro, helping you with your game plan for next week. Next week is huge. And I'm not talking about the biggest week in sports and the big game. I'm talking about Valentine's Day. Don't you dare forget, it's 2 days after the big game. Don't wait for the last minute. Don't wait until Monday after the big game. Here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. First of all, you better have already asked your special someone to be your Valentine's Day Very important. First part of the game plan. Second, you're going to call Theo Brahma Chocolatier. Call my great friend Heather. She owns it. She's going to hook you up with the best of the best in Albuquerque. What woman does not like chocolate? And I'm talking not the cheap drugstore kind. I'm talking she has sumptuous chocolate dipped strawberries, gift boxes. She has it all. Do not wait until the last minute and you are sure to win. Call Theo Brahma Chocolate today, 293-6545, or you can go visit the store on Montgomery and Tramway.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
Looks like it's a done deal. Ned James thinks there'll be a honeymoon period next year in Denver with Sean Payton. Everyone taking their victory laps. I don't think there is time to waste if you're the Broncos. Because look at what they have done to acquire Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. They've sent 3 first-round picks out, 3 second-round picks. No one's worried about Drew Lock. I get it. We don't have to talk about Drew Lock. But Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, and in return you get Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. So 6 first and second-round picks out for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. That means there is no time to wait and see. There's no time to wait around and see what you got. I wonder how much this offseason Russell Wilson is going to be thinking about himself and what he wants to be as a quarterback moving forward. What is his best position? If he'll sit down with Sean Payton, there'll be a different level of respect between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton than I bet there was between Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. Because I'm sure when Russell Wilson sits down at that table, he's like, all right, you're going to tell me what to do right now, Mr. Hackett? Okay. But maybe Sean Payton can bring a little bit more of that leadership into the locker room, because you saw early and often that Denver Broncos roster, not just Russell Wilson and his performance, but that roster wasn't all on board with Nathaniel Hackett. The decisions early in the season to bring in a game management coach early on, and you're like, all right, it's a first-year head coach trying to figure it out. And the Broncos cut bait after 1 year. So to me, there's no honeymoon period. You can be happy that you got Sean Payton, even though you ended up having to give up a first-round pick for a head coach that wasn't your first choice. DeMeco Ryans and Jim Harbaugh were higher on the list than Sean Payton. But now Denver is going to have to play it like, hey, we got our guy. Mission accomplished. And now Sean Payton is going to have to go in there and figure out what is the right direction for the Denver Broncos. Because in division, you got to figure out how to beat Patrick Mahomes. Not just to win a division, but in the postseason. You got to beat Joe Burrow. Can Kellen Moore elevate Justin Herbert even more? Is that the balance that the Chargers need from Brandon Staley, the guy that everyone was questioning? The defensive guy that people were saying were making a ton of mistakes and bad decisions. And Kellen Moore, when Dak Prescott was on the field, that team put up points. And that team won 24 games the last 2 years.
Yeah. It's going to be tough with Peyton. The issue becomes, what happens if it doesn't work? What happens if Russell Wilson is the Russell Wilson of this past season? Can you bench him if you're Sean Payton? Can you bench him and play another quarterback? And when you bench him and play another quarterback, will everybody be okay with that? Because you're paying him a lot of money, and now he's on the bench. So is it the coach's fault or is it the quarterback's fault? That's the problem you run into when you look at these coaches in the microcosm and you just say, hey, they're just coaching the quarterback. He's not there to coach the quarterback. He's there to win some games. And however you can win the game, you got to win the game. You got to skin that cat any way you can in order to get production that you need to get from both sides of the balls and special teams. You've got to find a way to win games. At the end of the day, it's winning games. And Sean Payton was hired to get the Denver Broncos into the playoffs. And in order to get your team into the playoffs, you have to be a well-rounded team. It's not just going to be the offense and the quarterback. You're going to have to figure out a way to manufacture points. You're going to have to use a quarterback that may be a little bit different than the quarterback you had in New Orleans. And Drew Brees comes from a different pedigree, different style of offense.
Russell Wilson kind of feels a little Drew Brees like now, the fact
he's short,
less willing to run with the football too at this point.
I just think the only similarities between those two is that they're short. Because, Peyton didn't run as much. I mean, not Peyton, but Drew Brees wasn't a running quarterback per se as Russell Wilson came into the league running the ball more. I don't think Russell has the same efficiency and effectiveness in the passing game as Drew Brees had, especially when it comes to managing the game from the quarterback position, 2-minute, those kind of things, and how Drew Brees came into football from Purdue as a passing with Joe Tiller and the no-back stuff, understanding pass concepts. I just think it's different coaching that type of a quarterback as opposed to the Russell Wilson type of quarterback that came in as a primary run, play action, manage the game, slow the game down. Now you got an offensive-minded coach, whereas Russell came from a defensive-minded coach in Pete Carroll. It's just different. And so we're going to see how he's able to be managed by Peyton. But Peyton's got to find a way to win the games, not so much win Russell Wilson over. A lot of people believe that the quarterbacks have this ultimate power within the organization, and they have a lot of power. They have a lot of say-so within the organization. But at the end of the day, if your head coach is not managing that entire team, you're not going to win very many games.
That's going to be big for the Denver Broncos, the relationship Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. But just how talented is this Broncos roster? Because they flashed some really good defense last year at times. What does it look like going into next season? Brandon Krisztal, KOA Radio up in Denver, is going to join us at 9 o'clock this morning and talk about the Sean Payton situation, becoming the head coach of the Broncos, but also what's the mindset of the franchise? Where do they feel they are at when it comes to that roster and being able to compete right away? When you bring in Sean Payton, that's the expectation. This is not a franchise that is saying, hey, we're bringing this guy to develop. You're bringing in Sean Payton to win right away in the NFL. Lobos at Utah State tonight, 4.5-point underdogs for the Lobos. The Mountain West Conference, it's really interesting. This is a kind of got to win game for Utah State. So how will the Lobos handle it on the road in Logan, Utah? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by Sandia Tram and 10-3.
Treat your special Valentine to a breathtaking tram ride up the Sandia Mountain.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
It's a kind of got a win game for Utah State with the Lobos in town. So we talk about 5 teams with an at-large resume potential in the Mountain West, and Utah State is one of those teams. But Utah State does not have a quad 1 win just yet. When it comes to net rankings, quadrant wins, that's something that they evaluate. That's on the team sheets. And that committee is putting together the 68-team NCAA tournament field. After they check off all the boxes of automatic qualifiers from the conference championships for filling those spots. Lobos feel like they have a strong case right now, and they do. Good quad 1 wins. Strength of schedule wasn't great. However, they're in a good spot. But tonight, they're 4.5-point underdogs at Utah State. And just like that, you could be looking at a UNM team that's 6-4 in Mountain West play. And that is wild to say when you're looking at a team that is 19-3 overall right now. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, A. Marie, our quarterback, Ned James. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. So last night, Nevada did it again. They got the Lobos in Reno, and they just got the Aztecs in Reno. Wolfpack beat San Diego State 75-66. Yes, Steve Alford's got a little swagger to him. He's feeling good, as he should be.
I don't like his swagger.
Ned doesn't like the swagger. Ned cannot wait till Nevada comes to the pit.
I can't wait. That's the only game I'm looking forward
Can't wait. February 7th. Steve Alford back in the pit. Lobos try to get the split of that game. You had UNLV victorious over Colorado State. Boise State outlasting Air Force in Colorado Springs, and then Wyoming beating Fresno State. So if we take a peek at the Mountain West standings, you got the Broncos and Aztecs, both 8-2. You got Nevada now 7-3. New Mexico and Utah State, both 6-3. And one of those teams is going to be in 5th place with a few games to make up at this point in time. Utah State knows if they win tonight, this is their biggest win of this season. And the Lobos understand that this could be another really good game to put on the resume. But how has Utah State done it this season? They're a team kind of like Nevada that came in with not a lot of expectations, but Richard Pitino really appreciates what he sees with Utah State.
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team all around. I mean, I think they're pretty balanced. They played a zone versus San Diego State, got them back in the game. They've got smart basketball players who are intelligent defensively. They try to play without fouling, which is obviously wise. So I think all around, I mean, they're right there as one of the better teams in the league. But I just
a game that it's going to start with 3-point shooting for Utah State, and the Lobos have been surprisingly really good defending the 3-point line. Now, some will say it's just a fluke because Richard Pitino, he also spoke this week that that's not necessarily a focal point in their defensive game plan because they're not long on the perimeter, but they try to contest shots, they try to speed you up, and teams that have shot the 3-point shot really well, whether it's in Oral Roberts or Boise State, at some of their worst shooting nights of the season against the Lobos. But those games are at the pit. And now the Lobos have to do it on the road at Utah State, a team that hits 10 3-point shots per game. They got some really tough matchups on the perimeter, such as Taylor Funk, the 6'9 senior, averaging 14.3 points per game because he's an inside-out guy. He's probably their best 3-point shooter. You got Sean Bairstow, Cam's brother. He's still there balling at Utah State. He's a solid player, averaging 10 points per game. And they have a really good backcourt. You look at Stephen Ashworth, 6'1 junior guard, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists per game. RJ Idlerock, who came over with Odoms from UMBC, is now on the bench after being a starter last season. And then Rylan Jones, a transfer from Utah. So they have a really good backcourt combination, just like the Lobos. And this is going to be a really tough game. I think we're both a little surprised, maybe all three of us, when we saw it was a 4.5-point spread in favor of Utah State at home. I know that kind of piqued your interest a little bit, Ned, in that one. But it's a game that it sets up for really interesting styles. You know, the Lobos want to play inside out. and Utah State's going to shoot a lot of threes.
I thought it was interesting with Pitino when he mentioned the fact that he thought they were a smart team, how they played. I thought he chose that word intentionally because he wants his team to play smart versus this smart team. You have to recognize that we may have more talent, but you have to play a certain way in order to win a game like this. And I think Richard has done a good enough job to get the guys to buy into what he wants them to do. And Morris Udeze he's a problem for a lot of people. And so they're going to take advantage of what we have, which is Udeze down low, and the fact that our guards are probably going to be a little bit better than their guards. Now, their style of play may be beneficial for them to be successful, and they're a 4-point favorite as a result of that. But at the same time, I think Richard Pitino's game plan is to use, the effectiveness of what he has as far as Udeze and his two guards to counteract that intelligence he's saying that they have in their supposed style of play.
And he's done a good job this year, Richard Pitino, knowing when to plant those nuggets. He talked up Isaiah Stevens big time, the Colorado State guard, before that matchup, and Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House heard that. They're like, all right, we're going to go out there and prove to you who we are. And so I think that's a really interesting point is Richard Pitino is calculated. The nuggets that he's dropping in these pressers, he's doing the same thing in the locker room. I mean, he's pointing out, Utah State, they're a really smart team, guys. Mm-hmm. They're going to play really hard. And coming off Air Force, they know what to expect. Like, Air Force is a next-level team in terms of their commitment to their style.
Right.
And I thought the Lobos locked in the last 6.5 minutes, really on the mental side on Friday night against Air Force to close that game out, defensively rebounding, and then how effective they were scoring 19 points in the final 6 minutes. And they're going to have to do the same thing tonight because Utah State, New Mexico, these teams lean offense. And that's where they've been the most efficient teams this season. So if Utah State hits their shots early, it's going to be a long night for New Mexico. But they've proven they can play different styles. They can play in tough environments. And this is going to be a tough environment. The Spectrum, it's a 10,000-seat arena. It's going to be full. They show up for Utah State. And the Lobos, they love the energy at home. They're embracing the energy on the road. And I think this is going to be a fantastic game because this is what you get when the top teams in the Mountain West Conference face off is really good basketball.
Yeah, and I was listening to the commentating the last TV game they had. I'm trying to think who was
it. The Air Force game?
Air Force game, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the guy you guys brought on the show,
Pete Gillen.
He explained. He says this conference is better than the Pac-12 conference. It really is. The intensity and the talent in the Mountain West Conference this year is really, really good. And so, and that's why I've really appreciated what Richard has done with this team as far as going on the road and beating the San Diego State. Winning the games on the road early that he did sets up this team to kind of maybe upset this Utah State team who's favored tonight at Utah State, because it's tough to win a game on the road. But I think this team is locked in. Watching them in practice, they practiced hard. I like the intensity. I like the fact that they were locked in and confident in their play. I saw confidence on the floor, even with freshman guys who are redshirting. You just see the confidence in this team. So, we're hoping that they can upset this team tonight. But it wouldn't be a surprise to me after watching them practice.
Well, it would be an upset just because they're underdogs in terms of the Vegas line. 4.5-point favorites for Utah State. Now, it's a kind of got-to-win game for the Aggies in their resume. They do not have a quad one win yet. And one of these teams, for as much as we're talking up both of them, is going to be sitting at 6-4 at Mountain West play after tonight. And that is not where the Lobos want to be, especially when you're trying to chase down a regular season title. Now that the Aztecs have another loss on their resume, losing to Nevada last night. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom,
LeBron James getting closer to becoming the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, trying to surpass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now he's also moving up that assist total list. Last night, the Lakers beat the New York Knicks in overtime, 129-123. He passed Mark Jackson and Steve Nash to move up to number 4 in the all-time assist list.
He's
so you
just dang.
LeBron, number 2 in all-time scoring. Number 4 all-time assists. Dude's still playing at a high level. Like, this isn't just a guy at the end coming off the bench getting some stats. This is the 38-year-old still playing at a really high level. Now, he sat out the night before against Brooklyn, but we also saw him play an overtime game on Saturday against the Celtics and how that one ended.
Yeah, and I think LeBron, like Jordan, and people hate it when you use the comparisons. He understands that he is a superstar, and he doesn't in any way try to avoid the spotlight or try to in any way make people believe that he's kind of taking it off or slowing down or not as great as he really is. And so I really respect him for that. I really think, I know it's up for debate who's better, who's the better player, he or Jordan, or who's the greatest, who's the GOAT. And generations, different generations have their arguments on why they think which one is the best. But I still believe that LeBron's got a lot left in the tank. He's doing a lot. I think the load management thing is science. I think they did load management when Jordan played. They just didn't call it load management. They called it something else, taking a day off, or they didn't play as hard, or they did, there were certain things they did, to kind of keep their bodies. But these guys are bigger, stronger, faster players nowadays. And so I don't think the talent was as great as it was that it is now than it was back when Jordan, those guys played. So, it's up for debate. But LeBron, what he's doing and what he's achieved, I just think, you got to tip your hat to him, and you got to give him all his kudos.
Well, the Lakers are still chasing a playoff spot. A lot of tough losses this season for Los Angeles. That's why they're eyeing the play-in games right now. Trying to keep Anthony Davis healthy for longer than 3 weeks at any point in the season would be a bonus for the Lakers. But LeBron is 89 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a mark that has stood for nearly 39 years. And I think when LeBron passes this one, people are set in stone with how they feel about LeBron James.
Right.
There's the people that grew up watching LeBron, and he's their GOAT.
Right.
Which, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Like, when you grow up, whatever you're watching, those are going to be your favorite players. Like, those are the players that you're going to look at and say, it's greatest of all time. From Russell to Wilt Chamberlain to Michael Jordan. Sure, there's still some people that grew up in Boston and say Larry Bird's best ever to do it.
A lot of people
say that. So that's the beauty of this.
Yes.
Now, I do think that when it comes to basketball, even though the positions are different, a big guy to a guard, you get, I think this is, and maybe even hockey to a certain extent, you could say that. Like, you get a truer extent of being able to compare player to player, because they do all the same things on the court.
Right.
Like, you're asking them to play offense and defense on the same court against the same players. So I do think, though, the basketball conversation, as much as you factor in eras, you factor in playing styles, that's the closest you're going to get to a true GOAT amongst all the players, because they're all asked to do the same thing on the court. And I think LeBron James, is he going to surpass Michael Jordan? I think that's an era thing. Because to me, I still take a step back, and Jordan, the finals performances, the edge, I think he's there. But LeBron James is at the table. And when he passes Kareem, it's not going to just be like, this guy doesn't deserve it. No, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Because of the level he is still playing at right now. JJ Buck, A. Marie, Ned James. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. And up next, we're going up to Denver. Brandon Krisztal joins us. The Broncos hiring Sean Payton. What does it mean? That's next here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's.
5 years running. Don't sweat the technique. This is the opening drive with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, A. Marie Castillo, and JJ Sweat the technique.
The news, fast and furious in the NFL. The story was Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos. Today, it's Tom Brady retiring for good. Well, in his words, he says this time it is for good. So that's the first quarterback domino. A big head coaching piece this postseason. What does it mean going into next year? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback, Ned James, with you this morning. So the Denver Broncos have agreed to a trade. Yes, a trade, because Sean Payton was still under contract with the New Orleans Saints. The Broncos will send a 2023 first-round pick, which they got from Miami via Bradley Chubb. It's owned by the San Francisco 49ers. So it's the 30th overall selection in this year's draft, along with a 2024 second-round pick to New Orleans for Sean Payton, a 2024 third-round pick. So when you take a step back, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, the last 2 off seasons for the Broncos, and Sean. A radio up there in Denver. And, you know, Brandon, I hit you up earlier in the week, and I was figured, hey, we'll be talking about this coaching search, what's going on, where are the Broncos going, and here we are. Sean Payton is their guy. How did this all come about?
Well, I think that it's something that had been in the works, and so it's interesting, depending on who you talk to, trying to, I guess, dissect and figure out, was Sean always their top target? Who really wanted Jim Harbaugh the most? And did DeMeco Ryans blow everybody away to the point where he really jumped to the top of the list and they were going to go with a 4th straight first-time head coach? And I think all those things can kind of be true, right? When you've got 5 people with strong personalities and very accomplished backgrounds in the interview room, and that's what they had with Rob Walton, his daughter Carrie Walton Penner, her husband Greg Penner, who's the CEO and runs the team day-to-day. Obviously, and Carrie's in the office a lot, too, with him almost daily. Condoleezza Rice, certainly a very impressive resume in her own right. And George Payton, who's been in the most football meetings of any of that group. They all were going to rank people differently and have different opinions and thoughts on who would be ultimately the best choice. And so I think that they've been working on the Sean Payton deal with the Saints as best they can in terms of George Payton and Mickey Loomis trying to get the compensation reduced from the initial asking price, which I was told was similar to what the Bucs gave the Raiders for John Gruden all the way back in 2002. And they were able to kind of work through that and make sure Jim Harbaugh wasn't going to be their choice or that was going to be the option they went with, and that DeMeco Ryans was choosing to go home to Houston, his wife's hometown, and a place where he was a star for 7 years, that Sean Payton emerged as truly the top candidate. And ultimately that's the way I think that it'll be presented is we've been working on a deal. We didn't want to give up 4 picks, 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders for him, but as the compensation came down, he of the 8 candidates is the only one that has his own Super Bowl ring and own Lombardi Trophy that he's bringing into the building, and also thought that he would give us the best chance to get the offense with Russell Wilson going in the shortest amount of time.
I think when you look at Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, what you just said, multiple things could be true. I think this offseason, there's probably a lot of self-reflection that Russell Wilson needs to do to just figure out what kind of quarterback am I right now? What do I need to be? Plus, Sean Payton coming in, trying to figure out the best offense. So what is this offseason like for Russell Wilson after what he went through last year?
Well, I think that he obviously wanted to try to become more of a pocket passer. And I think it was to his detriment and certainly to the Broncos' detriment and Nathaniel Hackett's detriment. Know that Nathaniel Hackett at his core wants to run the football. I go back to a conversation he and I had leaving the combine. We were on the same Southwest flight back from Indy to Denver, and we started talking about Syracuse, where he was the OC for a couple of years, and we were talking about Floyd Little and then Ernie Davis and Jim Brown, and he said, yeah, we broke all their records. We ran the you-know-what out of the ball, and I think used an expletive. And so I think that at his core, he wanted to run the football. But then I think part of him looked at Russell Wilson and said, okay, well, I've got a guy that wants to be an MVP that can obviously throw the ball 60 yards down the field real easily. Let's get him going. But maybe Russ's desire to take less hits, use his legs a little less, use his arm, didn't necessarily ever really materialize in terms of his ability to execute that. And so whether it was Nathaniel Hackett or Russ or whatever it was that was at fault, and a combination of that, that pairing in some form or fashion, it just never got going. And late in the year, with Jerry Rosberg at the helm, they ran the ball more, got Russ out on the edge, and I think Russ is realizing that he may not get the full 7 years of the contract that he has here in Denver, so 6 more at this point. But if he wants to get back on track with that Hall of Fame jacket waiting for him 5 years when he's done, and not only win games, but hopefully compete for some championships around here, then he's going to have to play the way he played his whole time in Seattle. And if they can beef up the O-line, he'll take a few less hits, but that he is going to have to operate on the edge. And so I think Sean Payton's going to have to find the stuff that works in his offense that is similar to what Russ did in Seattle and get that in the game plan as often as possible. And there may be plenty of days where they are running the ball a lot more, but it's going to be, I think, a lot of that because Russ doesn't operate in the pocket the way Drew Brees did. JJ, his entire life, Drew Brees was a 5'11" pocket passer. Russell Wilson's entire life, he's been a 5'10" guy who could use his feet to extend plays and his athleticism to make plays on the edge. And so he's going to have to embrace that more because he just can't see over the line and through the line to make plays in the middle of the field in cutting routes and intermediate areas. Can he have the checkdowns on the edge? Absolutely. But I think that he's going to have to just go back to what he did best, and I think Sean will do his best to make sure Russ is in position to succeed.
Talking with Brandon Cristal, KOA Radio up in Denver.
Hey, Brandon, Ned James here. Real quick about the roster. Sean Payton, I know everyone is dying to see what he's going to be able to do with Russell Wilson, but my concern more is with the entire roster and how Sean Payton is going to be. Will he be able to do something with this team despite the quarterback in other areas, maybe with defense and special teams and just the overall roster and because Russell's going to be what Russell is, and he's going to have to use Russell in a way that, maybe he's better for Russell than it is for Sean Payton's style of offense. How do you see him coming in and handling this roster?
Well, Ned, I think the biggest benefit for Sean Payton is going to be the players they had that were on IR this year coming back healthy and strong, right? Garrett Bowles, maybe they rework his deal a little bit, but if he comes back and can be your anchor at left tackle, that takes care of that problem. They still need to solve right tackle. I think they need to upgrade their center from Lloyd Cushenberry or even Graham Glasgow, but have a big mauler up there that can help push back and create a little bit of space for Russell Wilson, similar to the O-line they had in New Orleans. So it starts with the O-line, but then you're getting Tim Patrick back. You're getting Javonte Williams back. They're going to move on from Ronald Darby because Damari Mathis emerged as a corner. That's going to free up some money. You have to re-sign Draymond Jones. You probably want to re-sign Mike Purcell, as well as obviously you've got DJ Jones in year 2. You've got K'Wan Williams. You certainly have Pat Surtain and Justin Simmons. So then can Cortland Sutton fit into a Michael Thomas kind of role? Can Jerry Jeudy build on what we saw last year? Can KJ Hamler come back from injury? Can the 2 tight ends stay healthy and stay on the field in Alberto and Greg Dulcich? So I think you have pieces that it just never really worked, and because of the injury situation, there was always something going on as it related to the lack of availability at key spots. So that'll help because we know they now don't have a first-round draft pick still. They don't have a second-round draft pick this year or now next year. They're getting value, I think, in terms of where they are in the middle rounds, hopefully, but that's where they're going to have to build a team. They're going to have a little bit of money for free agency because, like I mentioned, they're going to cut Darby. I think they're going to rework some deals, and they're going to sign Draymond Jones, but with the cap going up, even with Russ's deal being what it is, they're going to be able to sign at least one free agent, I think. And if I was going to look to do it, it would be to bolster the O-line because Quinn Meinerz is the only one you feel great about up front. Everybody else has question marks. But I don't think the roster's as bare as you might think. You're going to need things to come together. And then on top of that, when these guys get back and with the players that weren't necessarily as banged up, you have to figure out a way to keep these guys healthy. And you can't have hamstring injuries every other week like you had across the board. It felt like every day there was a new hamstring injury popping up, and that was obviously limiting the availability of so many players.
Brendan Cristal joining us just for a few more minutes. And, Brandon, you look at right now in the AFC, it feels like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. It's kind of like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning 2.0. And then you're going to have to figure out who's going to be the Ben Roethlisberger in this situation, who's going to be able to sneak in there a time or two and get by this team. And then you still have Josh Allen and the Bills. You see Trevor Lawrence looking better with Doug Peterson. Justin Herbert, Kellen Moore, we'll see if that relationship can grow. What are the expectations? Because you bring in Sean Payton, it's not, hey, let's see how this team develops. It's we're going after Sean Payton because we feel like we can play right now. So what is Denver going to expect from this football team?
I think that when you look at the expanded playoff field and how many teams were mathematically still in the mix late in the year, you want to be right there in that mix. Will they compete for a division championship? Until they can snap this losing streak to the Chiefs, you can't say yes. All it takes is one win to say, okay, now that they've beaten the Chiefs, can they do it again? And then they'll have that opportunity, obviously, as they play them twice a year. Maybe they'll even see them in the playoffs. But I think it's just getting the offense going. And when you look at how productive Sean Payton's offenses were in terms of points per game, where they were top 5 times, they were in the top 10 all but 3 times his entire run, all 15 years there in New Orleans, and yardage-wise, they were number 1 in the league 6 times. They were number 2 a couple times. They were in the top 5, I think 8 of those 10 times in the top, or 12 times in the top 10, and then they were 11th, 12th, and 28th the very last year. So we'll chalk that one up as an anomaly. They can move the football. At least Sean Payton could, regardless of personnel. He could have Drew Brees there the whole time. You can have Russell Wilson here to start, and then the pieces will constantly change around just because that's the nature of the NFL. So I think they can be competitive, especially if they do sign Vic Fangio to end up becoming the defensive coordinator, which is a possibility. Dave Logan, the voice of the Broncos on KOA yesterday, talked about Vic Fangio mulling the choices between Miami, perhaps San Francisco, and the Broncos, and they could perhaps pay him more money than he got as a head coach to be the highest paid coordinator in the history of football. So that would, I think, calm some people down with the idea they may be losing Ejiro Evero either to become a head coach or that because of Nathaniel Hackett being fired, he's not in a hurry to stick around with the organization that fired his best friend, even though the defense had a lot of success. So I think they can be competitive sooner than later, and that's the goal, right, is to try to win the division, to be in the playoff mix, and then as we see, sure, both number 1 teams are headed to the Super Bowl this year, but there's plenty of years where that's not the case, where the bye actually can hurt a team or slow them down if they have momentum, and teams will sneak in that are lower seeded. So I think that you just want to be competitive. You want to try to win your division, and you want to be in that playoff mix in December, something they haven't been very often since Peyton Manning retired at the end of the 2015 season.
All right, Brandon, we'll let you out of here on this one. Tom Brady retires. It's the first quarterback domino to fall this offseason. Within the AFC West, in Las Vegas, looks like they're moving on from Derek Carr. Interesting class of free agent quarterbacks. When you take a step back, what do you think is going to happen? Do you see, Derek Carr, is he Matthew Stafford 2.0? Like when you're looking at it, when you're looking at that division, where do you think some of these guys are going, and what's going to be the big hit for some of these quarterbacks?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the market for Derek Carr, who now likes Snoop Huntley as a Pro Bowler this year. But we know that Derek Carr still has the ability to make all the throws that you need a quarterback to make. The question is, can he do it when it really counts? So do the Colts go after him? Do the Dolphins sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal because they just don't know what the future of Tua is? So I think Derek Carr will have obviously a really robust market in quotes with some teams that want him. I think Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders now makes a lot of sense with Tom Brady completely off the board. And then I think that Aaron Rodgers' future, whether it's with the Packers or does he get traded to New York, I don't know about a trade to the Niners, but if there's enough draft picks coming back, does Matt LaFleur have enough juice to either hook Kyle Shanahan up or Robert Saleh up? I think Matt LaFleur has more juice in that organization than the GM does. So where is Aaron Rodgers next year? Or does he retire as well? And then we'd have a crazy Hall of Fame ceremony in 5 years with Tom Brady, J.J. Watt, and Aaron Rodgers all going in first ballot. It would be pretty remarkable class. But I think that it's going to be also fascinating to see what happens with Lamar Jackson. And if I'm the Ravens, I have to franchise him if I can't get a long-term deal done, because you need to be able to get some sort of compensation back beyond just a couple third-round compensatory picks or whatever it ends up being when he signs somewhere else. So I think that even with Brady retiring, and it was kind of a bummer because I do think he still has some good football left in him, and it would have been fun to see him chase a ring somewhere else one last time, although I heard Jeff Darlington say that if he was going to come back, it was going to be in Tampa to try to get them back on track. So maybe that was just all of us speculating he'd go Miami, Vegas, San Fran. But I think it's still going to be a really, really fun offseason. And obviously in Denver, it'll be less exciting than it was last year with the Russell Wilson trade and the speculation leading up that Aaron Rodgers or maybe Russell Wilson or someone else could end up here in Denver. But I think that that's what makes the NFL has certainly replaced not only Major League Baseball's hot stove league, which is non-existent, and even the NBA with some of the movement of star players over the years and Kevin Durant and all of that, LeBron those couple of times. The NFL is every day must-see TV because we didn't even get 24 hours, like you said, to talk about Sean Payton before Tom Brady dropped his bombshell that he was done. And so I'm here for it, for one. As a fan of the NFL, I can't wait to see all the moving parts. And it's fun that, look, we love the idea of guys staying with their teams forever. Once Peyton Manning changed teams, I think since then it's just changed the way we look at the NFL, right? And, you know, I mentioned J.J. Watt. You thought he would have been a Texan his whole career, or Von Miller would have been a Bronco his whole career, or Tom Brady would have been a Patriot his whole career. That's just not the world we live in. And I think it's great for football. It's great for the fans, and so it should be a really fun offseason.
Brandon, thank you, man. Great stuff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Brandon Krisztal, KOA Radio up there in Denver. And what he said, you just want to have a chance. So who has a chance heading into next season? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Say my name, say my name.
Well, every other station.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the Pet Supply Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
He is retired, the 7-time Super Bowl champion, 45 years old. Leads the NFL as the all-time passing leader, all-time touchdown leader. I think of all the stats, yes, 7-time Super Bowl champion. That's going to be at the top. The second one to me is 35 career postseason wins. Tom Brady by himself has more postseason wins than 27 NFL teams have.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of postseason football that Tom Brady was victorious at. And I think it caught us by surprise. I know people were saying it's like Tom Brady retired, it's your time. I thought he had one more year. I thought this would be Tom Brady going out as a San Francisco 49er. It just felt like that'd be the situation, especially after the Brock Purdy elbow injury. They sold on Trey Lance. Yeah, they picked him 3rd overall. But it's a roster that you don't want to waste. Well, now that's the first domino. Tom Brady is off the board. So you turn your attention to, can anyone actually pry Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay? Are you taking on what's left? 2 years of a 3-year, $150 million deal that he signed last year? And then the unrestricted free agents. What happens with Lamar Jackson? Does he get, what type of franchise tag could they put on Lamar Jackson? There's the exclusive and non-exclusive, which would either allow teams to negotiate with Lamar, then draft pick compensation goes back to Baltimore, or it's Baltimore or bust for Lamar Jackson. And then you have Geno Smith, you have Daniel Jones, playoff quarterbacks this season that works well with their teams, and a Jimmy Garoppolo and a Derek Carr. And oh, by the way, that's not even talking about the NFL draft, where 2 teams for sure, and that is the Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts, are going to be selecting a quarterback in the first round. They better be picking a quarterback in the first round at this point in time. JJ Buck, Amory, our quarterback Ned James with you here on the opening drive. Thank you for joining us this morning. And it was interesting hearing Brandon Cristal, who just joined us from KOA Radio up there in Denver, kind of talk about the focus of the Broncos, because they had a lot of players on the IR last season. And that's tough to be putting so many eggs in that basket of getting those guys healthy and that having to be the difference, because they don't have 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, because the last 2 off seasons, those were traded away to acquire Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
I really enjoy. This is one of the few journalists that have called in that I mean, I like them all, but I like this Brandon. I mean, he was really in depth. I like really how he described the roster and went into detail on, the IR guys and guys coming back and that sort of thing. But the thing that really caught my, us old guys, we like when old guys or young guys, I don't know if Brandon's old or young, but they think like the old school guys. And one of the things that he said that stood out to me was the way they're building that roster. And he talked about the offensive line and how they needed to get that fixed, and building primarily or technically the way the old school guys would build a team. You build it from the front back.
Yeah.
So you get the line right, and then you start working back to the running backs, receivers, and quarterback, et cetera. And then on the defense, you start with the defensive line, and then you work your way to the linebackers and back. Whereas the new school theory is to build from the back up to the front. So you get your secondary guys, you get great secondary guys, and then you start building with the linebackers, and you come to the D-line, and then you go from quarterback to. So he talked primarily about the line and how they had to build that line and get the line right is what Sean Payton is going to need to do when he comes in to this Denver Bronco team. He's going to have to build that roster from up front first and then work his way back. And I think that's the key. The culture and the way you build a team and how you build this team is going to be important if Denver is to be successful in this conference. Quarterback, just fixing the quarterback, I think, is just something, for TV and for people to kind of, because Russell Wilson is making the most money, which, the worst athletes and that's the thing I've always said, the worst athletes on these football organizations are typically the quarterbacks, and they get paid the most money, but yet and still they're an important part of that. And just moving off of that, going to this whole quarterback thing with Lamar Jackson. The thing that's fascinating to me, and I joke when I say this, but I'm not joking really, is how, even if you're a millionaire, you're really a poor person compared to these owners who are billionaires, and how people defend the money that these owners have to pay to players. And you'll cite, Deshaun Watson's guaranteed $230 million, and you cite the fact they're paying, over $200-something million to get Sean Payton in with the draft picks and everything else that are included in these salaries that these owners are. They have the cash. Do not be upset at Lamar Jackson for demanding a Deshaun Watson contract. You poor people.
People are always going to be
don't worry about these
contracts.
These owners have the money.
I don't know what it is, but in sports, quarterback contracts get the people going because they're like, "Oh, you paid a quarterback, you can never win a football game again." And hey, that's out
me,
there.
It's a jealousy thing.
It's like,
what does it matter if you pay the quarterback? Everybody pays their quarterback, but the amount of money.
You're only winning if you have a quarterback and a rookie deal.
They're saying. But those quarterbacks eventually down the road going to get paid, and
they don't win anymore unless you're Tom Brady.
Well, okay. I mean, do you want to have Aaron Rodgers on your show, or do you want to have Purdy on your team? I mean, it's just a matter of who you're thinking you should have at quarterback. If you have one of these high market, do you want to have a Patrick Mahomes on your team? Do you want to have these high priced guys on your team? Of course you do, but at the same time, you can't be mad at a guy. Or say that the owners don't have. How dare that guy ask for that kind of money? The owners have the money. Just be happy with the fact that a guy that's poor like us can get that kind of money. Lamar Jackson, should he get a $230 million? He should get a $300 million guaranteed. He's been a league MVP. Don't worry about how much money the owner. It's almost like people feel sorry for the owners having to pay these guys this kind of money, which you shouldn't be sad about because the owners have the cash. Lamar Jackson. And my personal opinion of Lamar Jackson, what I think. I think he's the greatest college quarterback to ever play. But I'm not a fan of Lamar Jackson as an NFL quarterback.
And that's why
But I'm a fan of him getting the money, though. That's the only difference.
That's why Baltimore hasn't upped their guarantees to the level that he wants just yet. First quarterback domino off the board, Tom Brady, hanging it up. The offseason is going to be really interesting. 99%. I say 1% chance.
I say it's 50-50 still.
You still think it's 50-50?
Give him 40 days. Give him 40 days before you
way.
You
He's
move it up
not
to
coming
99.
back. He's not coming back. Come on, that beach emotional. I'll be so mad.
He won't care.
Yeah.
But
Tom Brady
okay, the
cares.
next time I get a hold of DraftKings, I'm gonna see what the wagers are. I'm gonna see what the odds are, and then I'm gonna make my final decision. But still, he is done.
For Tom Brady,
Give
take
him a
Bachelor life. He's
40
gonna
day
go be on
window.
TV.
Give him 40 days.
Taking Romo's job. Just kidding. What's he on Amazon? Fox. He's on Fox, right?
Potentially Fox Sports.
Fox, yeah.
We shall see. It's a kind of got to win game for Utah State, but there's still plenty of pressure on the Lobos on the road. They're underdogs. And with Utah State looking to get a quad one victory, the Lobos looking to keep building their resume in a Mountain West that the top five is really good. But if you keep taking losses, you lose that margin for error. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Can your station do this? Two Men On is live from Super Bowl 57.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors.
And they packed that arena, 10,000 plus. And the fans will be lit tonight because this is a kind of got to win game for Utah State. They do not have a quad one win on the resume. They are the team that is the truest of the bubble teams in the Mountain West Conference. Boise State, San Diego State, Nevada, and New Mexico, a little firmer ground than Utah State. And we're looking at those 5 with legitimate at-large resumes. Then all of a sudden, UNLV, who got off to a slow start, but they beat the Lobos. They beat Nevada. They're a team you do not want to see in Las Vegas. They're going to give someone else a loss along the way. They're going to knock off someone in the conference tournament. And we know how tough it's been to play Air Force, who took Boise State down to the wire last night. Now, Boise State won at Kluter in 59-52. So the Broncos and Aztecs, who the Aztecs lost to Nevada last night. How about Steve Alford picking off the Lobos and the Aztecs in a week? So the Broncos and Aztecs 8-2. Nevada 7-3. You have the Lobos and Aggies sitting at 6-3. Huge game for Utah State. Still a big game for the Lobos. This is a very good basketball team. The Mountain West is good. You're going to take some losses. But it would be a bit of a bummer to be looking at the Lobos 6-4 if the odds makers got this one right. And they think Utah State's going to be the better team tonight. But speaking about the Mountain West Conference, Richard Pitino knows how good it is, and it's because from top to bottom, it's the coaches and players that are getting the job done.
I don't know this. I don't know every program, but it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of coaches on the hot seat. It doesn't seem like there's programs in disarray. It seems like there's 11 very healthy situations, and that helps because it's not always the case. And whether it's, coaches like me or Kevin Kruger in their second year, Tim Miles' second year, we think we've improved. And then to go along with the stability programs, whether it be San Diego State, certainly Boise State, and even Utah State, where they were winning. It's different than when a coach gets fired and leaves versus Utah State's had some continuity, and Coach Odoms did a great job of continuing with that. So it just seems like there's a lot of rock-solid programs, even Colorado State and Wyoming, who have taken a little bit of a step back. Wyoming's obviously had crazy injuries. Colorado State lost one of the best players to play in the conference in a long time. So I just think there's really good, sustained cultures in our league right now, and that helps a lot.
That's a really good point. Yeah. When you look at it right now, the coaching carousel has turned a lot recently, but these programs feel like they're in a pretty good place. Tim Miles, San Jose State, they're winning games this season. What Richard Pitino has done at UNM. You have the longer tenured coaches like Leon Rice, of course, Brian Dutcher, the wingman to Steve Fisher, taking over at San Diego State. And that helps because coaching still matters, stability, even in this NIL world.
Yeah.
You need the ability to get those players, but you still have to put them together in such a short amount of time to be successful.
Yeah, I like that term that he used, that old school term, sustained culture, in that, you have these schools where they have an environment, they have a winning culture, or they have a strong nucleus of guys that have been there, that have kept the program in a position to be successful for a good period of time, and they're still there, and that culture is still there. And like, Richard was saying, he's working on building that here at UNM, even though it's been here, it's been a tradition here. It makes it tough when you're going against schools that have that and have been successful and have won conference championships and have been to the NCAA tournament. It's tough to defeat them, and it's tough to go into these environments and be successful when these people know who they are and they know what they can do as a unit and as a group. And I think they're doing that at all these places. And you said there's a top 5, and I looked at it and I was like, man, there's like 8 9 teams here. That's what I meant by that. And maybe I thought of it in a little different way, but hearing the sustained culture term kind of labels it the right way, I think.
Yeah, right now, 4 teams are feeling really good about themselves. With Utah State, if they can beat a New Mexico, if they can beat a couple of these teams down the line, 5 legitimate at-large teams for the NCAA tournament. But to your point, we watched Fresno State beat New Mexico. We watch UNLV do that. We watch UNLV beat Nevada. San Jose State could pick off someone else down the line. And so the strength of the conference is better than it's been, while the top is really solid in terms of at-large teams in the Mountain West Conference. And 505-246-0610, that's a 377 Brewery hotline and text line. Joseph is in. He says, for the Lobos to win tonight's game, they can't give up second chance opportunities to Utah State, and they need to drive the basket, take good shots. This is going to be a really interesting dynamic. Both these teams can light it up offensively. Utah State, they hit 10 3-point shots per game. They shoot a really high percentage. We know how efficient the Lobos can be offensively. That's where their bread is buttered. And for New Mexico, it's about moments of playing good enough defense. Like, this team overall is not going to give you flashbacks to Steve Alford's era, where they were winning games against San Diego State 40-37. But with their athleticism, it's turning it on in the right moments. I think we saw that the last 6 minutes against Air Force, where they had to lock in and really win that game mentally before they won it physically, because of the way Air Force plays, the way they grind you down. And so it's going to be different tonight. They're going to have to be ready for fast-paced tempo, the environment early at Utah State. Because I bet the Aggies hit some threes to start this game. Mm-hmm. And then so how do you handle that? How do you take, all right, those first few punches? What is the counter going to be for the Lobos against Utah State?
I think they play better when the game is faster. I think the Lobos play better when the game speeds up a little bit. And I think, it kind of, the San Diego State game when on the road kind of helps me with this game, because it kind of lets me know that this team is capable of withstanding a tough opponent on the road in that kind of an environment.
We've done it twice in 2 true road game environments, St. Mary's and San Diego State.
Right. Those 2 environments, right. So, and they look strong in practice. I always like to, you know how I am, JJ. I like to talk to the trainers, the custodians, the equipment managers, whoever.
You like to get the real
I like to get
insight
the real insight on how these guys really are and how they move, even in other circles, how they move. And this team is a confident team. They move well. They moved well. Even watching them in practice, they're confident. Richard's got them running. He's got, in this time of the season, some guys will back off players, kind of try to save their legs and do certain things to kind of keep them, fresh. But watching that practice and watching how the routine of what they're doing in practice and how, he's throwing that ball off that goal and he's screaming, get down that court. And these guys are buying into it. You don't see any pouting. You don't see any, guys when the coach says, okay, run it again. We got to do it right. This is the way we need to do it. You don't see guys moping, and they're getting after Barema, Sek, and they're getting after those guys who are role players, Forsling. He's getting after them. You see the pink face in Forsling because he's got to keep up. That ball's coming off that backboard, and they're sprinting back, and he's got to get back there as well. So it's fun to see. It's fun to kind of observe, and I like our chances tonight. Let's just hope they don't disappoint the Lobo faithful.
Lobos, Utah State tonight. Aggies 4.5-point favorites. What are the odds on Tom Brady being done? Is it finally time for Tom to hang it up? He said that this morning, but we'll let you hear it from him, his own words, as I try to rumble, bumble, and stumble to this break. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. SportsCast.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets.
I'm at 99%. Marie, what are you at?
101.
She's 101%. Ned James is
50-50.
50-50.
Wow. I'm telling you, just the scene, the beach, the tears. It's going to ride into that bachelor life, be on TV.
Tom's got to stop being so Hollywood. Man. That's too Hollywood.
I know, you don't like Hollywood, Ned James.
But the 7-time Super Bowl champion announced via his social media this morning that he is retiring. The 45-year-old, the NFL's all-time passing leader, all-time touchdown leader, you name it, he's probably got the record at this point in time, is retiring from football. JJ Buck, Marie, Ned James with you. Thank you for joining us here on The Opening Drive. But let's hear it from the man himself, Tom Brady, what he said this morning.
We would like to thank the following sponsors.
Did this 1 year ago. Gave him 40 days, and he came back. But you're 50-50. Amory is 101%. I am 99% on that Tom Brady run. I think could he have played one more year? Absolutely. He could have.
Can he come back if somebody gets hurt this fall?
I thought it was going to be because Brock Purdy got hurt. But he's going to be the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And that does not look like it is the case. But Tom Brady is the man that everyone is and will be measured by at the quarterback position. The numbers are outrageous, whether it's 7 Super Bowl championships, 14 AFC title game appearances, the passing records. I think the craziest thing in there is the fact he went 10 years between winning his first 3 Super Bowl titles and then the last 4. And the fact that he won still 3 more with the same team he won the first 3. Like, you just don't see that. The longevity, the consistency, the winning. And think right now, maybe Patrick Mahomes is a guy you look at and say, oh, I could see Patrick Mahomes still being with Kansas City and winning a Super Bowl 10 years from when he won the first one. Not many other players.
Well, that's if you assume that Patrick Mahomes is winning because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. If you assume that Tom Brady won because of Belichick or Tom Brady.
They're both. They go hand in hand. They're
hand in
together,
hand,
but
yeah.
Brady showed you that he's still a pretty good dude when he went down to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and the culture and the environment, all that plays a big role in it, and it's just a testament to the sport. That's why it's America's #1 sport, and it's big. You know, it's a lot of it has to do with the discipline and the toughness and the grit, which most people in this world, and particularly in America, admire that kind of strength and fortitude and endurance that you have to play and have a long career in the NFL. And I think Tom Brady exemplifies that. And so we were witnessing some great things from a great quarterback, and I think a lot of people are going to miss that. And, it'll be interesting to see if Tom misses it and comes back, or if he decides to stay in retirement.
This is the hardest thing for an athlete.
Yeah.
The majority of them is taking that next step. And you've done that, Ned.
Yeah.
Like, you've been there. Now, you transitioned to coaching. You coached a lot. But what was it like when you knew that Ned James, the quarterback, Ned James, the athlete, wasn't going to be your daily focus?
It's your body that tells you. Your mind always still believes that you can play. But your mind, and particularly guys that are throwers, that's why I always look for guys who play baseball and play quarterback. Because, you from the time you were 7 years old and you were skipping rocks on the lake, you could always skip rocks better than all the other 7-year-old kids and all the other 9-year-old kids and all the other 12-year-old kids. You were able to throw better than most of those kids. And so natural throwers, particularly at the quarterback position, you can last a lot longer. Even though your body's breaking down, you can still go out there and compete and throw the football. And I think that's what Tom, really relied on and depended on, was the ability to throw the football. And so, you find ways to try to, get that back. And you just never can match what it's like to be in a game with your teammates, being in the locker room, all those things, being that leader, being that one that everybody looks up to and respects because you play that most important position, which is quarterback. It's hard to replicate that in a normal 9-to-5 job every day. And a lot of guys look for other things to kind of replace that. I think that's what Tom realizes, that, he's going to have to, eventually at some point find something to replace it. It's so hard. And guys retire all the time and want to come back. Even the Troy Aikmans and those guys 5 years, 6 years after the fact, they would still try to hunt, different places that they could possibly go back to and just get a couple more snaps in just to play. I remember Joe Theismann, when I was coaching in Seattle with the Seahawks, he made it a point that he would have to throw, he would throw scout team 7-on-7 when he was doing the games for Monday Night Football.
Oh, really?
Until he came to Seattle, and Dennis was like, well, that's what we have our practice squad quarterbacks for. You're not going to do it. And he got dressed. He was so adamant about doing that he got dressed and pouted on the sideline like a 7-year-old trying to get into a Little League game. he wanted to still replicate that feeling he had when he was able to play quarterback with the Washington football team back in the day. So it never leaves you. It's not going to leave Troy right away. It's going to be, he's going to have some ups and downs, and we'll see how long it lasts, because when you got suitors out there, it's tough to let it go.
Well, it was the first quarterback domino to fall this offseason. Tom Brady off the board for now. Some people aren't as sold. Emery's all in, 101%.
Hundo.
Now James, 50-50. I'm at 99%. Once the NFL kicks off the regular season and Tom Brady is not taking a snap,
I'm going to get you to 98 before the week's over.
then I'll be at 100%. But it does feel like he can't do it again, can he?
No,
Yes,
it
he
will
can.
just be ridiculous.
Yes, he can.
What crazy events this week, too. So
Just
He's
like that. Not
doing
even
it.
24 hours. We got Sean Payton to Denver. Tom Brady retiring. What's next? Stay tuned, and we'll find out tomorrow morning in the opening drive at 7 a.m. I want to thank Brandon Cristal from KOA Radio up there in Denver for joining us today, breaking down the Sean Payton and Denver situation. We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd follows that at 1 o'clock. The boys tuning on with you at 4. And don't forget Lobo basketball tonight, 8 o'clock over on News Radio KKOB. Lobos at Utah State. Emery, thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff. Ned James, good to see you back in town, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Meta World, peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Fish, birds, cats, dogs, reptiles, and small animals. Clark's has built a tradition of friendly, knowledgeable service focused on affordable, quality pet care products and food. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs, including an extensive selection of gifts for both owners and pets. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's Pet Emporium is celebrating 50 years. Thank you, Albuquerque, the pet supply superstore. ClarksPets.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company. Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.